Hello, my name is Kristine Clowers, and I'm a graduate student in the Agricultural Education and Communications program at Kansas State University. I'm in my third semester, and I'm currently evaluating and providing an in-depth analysis of the expectancy violations theory. This image illustrates the expectancy violations theory by showing that people who see a sign in someone's yard saying, "Beware of the dog," they normally think of a large, aggressive, and somewhat mean dog, rather than a smaller, calm one. Therefore, once the people see the dog is small, their expectancy to see a mean, large dog was violated. So what is the expectancy violations theory, or EVT? In the previous slide, I gave you an interpretation of the theory. It is the exchange of information which is high in interpersonal content, which can be verbal or nonverbal. Nonverbal is the most popular form that has been researched. By using the EVT, you are anticipating behavior that will take place in a continuous pattern. Communicators use this theory to violate or disrupt the expectations of another person. In return, that person can perceive the disruption as either positive or negative. So in short, the expectancy violations theory explains how when our expectations are violated, we respond in specific ways depending on the particular situation and on the specific relationship we have with the other individual or individuals. This theory has three core components: expectancy, valence violation, and communicator reward valence. Expectancy is further broken down into context or cultural norms, relationship factors such as similarity, familiarity, and liking, and communicator characteristics such as demographics. Valence violation is the perceived positive or negative value assigned to the expectancies. Communicator reward valence is the combination of positive and negative attributes within the encounter influencing the potential reward or penalty to the encounter. Moving on to the history of the expectancy violations theory, Judy Burgoon and her colleagues were the founders of the theory. Ms. Burgoon received her undergraduate degree from Iowa State University, her graduate degree from Illinois State University, and her PhD from West Virginia University. Currently, Ms. Burgoon is the Director of Human Communication Research for the Center for the Management of Information at the University of Arizona. She has authored or co-authored 7 books and monographs, and over 240 articles, chapters, and reviews related to nonverbal and relational communication. In addition to the expectancy violations theory, Ms. Burgoon has also studied the interpersonal adaptation theory and the interpersonal deception theory. Expectancy violations theory was developed by Burgoon and her colleagues in 1978 as a way of filling the void in the theoretical literature on the nature of and reaction to personal space violations. They argued that individuals entered an interaction with previously developed expectations regarding the other person's behavior. If they do not already have an existing relationship with this individual, they rely solely on social norms to form the expectations. In general, individuals set their own definition of personal space and are influenced by social norms. As I said previously, the content can be verbal or nonverbal. Early studies focused on exploring nonverbal communication, but later and current applications of the theory also use verbal messages. This image illustrates the proxemics of personal space by stating the 4 zones. The first zone is 0 to 18 inches, which is called the intimate distance. And this is generally the distance at which family members, best friends, and significant others stand. The second zone is called the personal zone, which ranges from 18 inches to 4 feet. This zone represents the distance individuals such as close classmates or general friends stand at. The social distance zone is third and ranges from 4 to 10 feet. This zone is dictated by social norms set by ourselves as well as societal times. And fourth is the public distance zone, which is 10 feet or more. and is used by general public individuals you most likely do not have an acquaintance with. The previous zones of EDT in personal space has been confirmed in a number of studies and has expanded to include other forms of nonverbal communication, such as immediacy behaviors, touch behaviors, behaviors in close relationships, instructional contexts in the work setting, health campaigns, and computer-mediated context. Within the numerous nonverbal studies, the following assumptions have been made to generalize the research. The expectancy violation theory assumes that humans have a certain amount of free will, that there is one truth, and that norms and relations to violations are universal. The axiological assumption is that the theory seeks to be value neutral. In communication research, many theories can be related to one another and be used in partner. These four theories are ones I found to be most associated with the expectancy violations theory. First is the uncertainty reduction theory, which studies the relationship between violation behavior and the level of uncertainty of the individuals. Second is the social exchange theory. The social exchange theory explains how people seek a reward or rewards out of interaction with other people. Thirdly is the social facilitation model that explains how a receiver becomes aroused when a communicative behavior does not match their expectations. Lastly is cognitive dissonance, the attempt to explain why and how people react to unexpected information and how they adjust themselves during the communication process. The expectancy violations theory can be used in many different disciplines due to its ability to explain human responses in various situations. Any discipline that involves communicating and interacting with others can utilize this expectancy violations theory. Social media is one that I associate most to the EVT, and it is my first example. I will provide 3 examples of research that has been done using the expectancy violations theory. First is ones I believe individuals with the social media outlet will relate to. Fife, Nelson, and Zhang's article, A New Horizon for a Classic Perspective, Facebook and Expectancy Violation Theory, shows that individuals develop a range of acceptable behaviors, and if an individual acts outside these behaviors, it is a violation of their expectancy. Within the article, the authors show research that has explained how profile pictures are meant to be used and that they generally tend to be inactive, poised, appropriate, and only include the subject. However, if profile pictures do not fit these norms, then it violates these expectations. An example of this would be if an individual were to have a profile picture revealing inappropriate body parts. This research study further went on to find that stalking behaviors, the comparison of how many friends and photos an individual has, tagging others in inappropriate photos, and accepting friend requests from unknown individuals are considered to be negative behaviors on Facebook. The second example assesses the effectiveness of health communication campaigns. Campo, Cameron, Brossard, and Fraser examined the related efforts on judgments and attitudes using social norms marketing and the expectancy violations theory after presenting college students social norms messages of alcohol, smoking, and exercise. They found that social norms messages may work to change judgments but do not result in consistent attitude change. The data were consistent with the expectancy violations theory predictions as positive violations. However, the limit of the study was that the violation was a violation of statistic rather than a violation of reaction. The third and final example examines the occurrence of timing and timing of modality switching from the perspective of EVT. It shows a two-way association. First, participants who had short-term associations with others and switched modalities reported less uncertainty. And second, participants who had long-term association with others but switched modalities reported more uncertainty. Overall, Ramirez and Wang found that participants rated the social information acquired by modality switching as an expectancy violation. Although the limitations to the expectancy violations theory vary between research studies, I have found a few general controversies and limitations that researchers have found. First, Glenn Sparks and John Green commented on Burgoon's methods that self-perceptions or arousal are not valid. Therefore, researchers should not accept a claim about validity of any nonverbal index until that validity has been demonstrated. Secondly, in general, most interaction between individuals is very complex, and there are more contingency conditions to consider within the theory, making the predictions of behavioral outcomes virtually impossible. To make it simpler, there are lots of ifs when it comes to behaviors, which can make research in this discipline very tricky. A few more controversies and limitations include a person's age affects their reactions in response to expectancy violations, as does cultural background, gender, and many other environmental factors. Expectancy violations vary in frequency, seriousness, and valence. EVT assumes there is only one truth and that norms and reactions to violations are universal. While assumptions are great for research, they are not always true, and the exceptions need to be researched as well. As stated before, the expectancy violations theory can be used in many different disciplines. Anywhere communication occurs, verbal or nonverbal, EVT can be utilized. Although I did not find any particular studies of the expectancy violations theory in agriculture, it can be utilized in several different ways. Communicators who focus on advocating for the agricultural industry can especially utilize the expectancy violations theory. For example, anti-ag organizations often only give one side of the story to get consumers to believe their stories. Agriculture communicators can present the entire truth that will violate those consumers' expectancies of various practices in agriculture who believe the anti-ag organizations. A few of the examples include swine gestation crates and the use of automated milkers. A recent video by Chipotle made these production practices seem way worse than they are, giving consumers the idea that livestock producers are inhumane to the animals. Ag communicators can use the expectancy violations theory to disrupt their perceived perception. Another example could be where a researcher could tell an individual to select an item with the least amount of fat. The two options are 1, a sandwich that has roast beef, mayonnaise, cheese, lettuce, mustard, tomato on white bread. The second is an 8-ounce steak, cooked with only salt and pepper on it. The individual who does not have much knowledge about beef product nutrition would probably select the sandwich because that is what most of the society would think. You see television commercials about Subway and their strive for a healthier diet. There are few commercials, however, promoting beef as a low-fat meal. That individual's expectancy for the sandwich to be healthier is violated. In summary, the expectancy violations theory was invented in 1978 by Miss Judy Burgoon and was first utilized in nonverbal communications regarding personal space. Since then, researchers have used the theory in many different situations using both verbal and nonverbal communication. The three core concepts of the expectancy violations theory are expectancy, valence violation, and communicator reward valence. EVT can be used in various disciplines where communication is involved and definitely has a place in the agricultural industry. And finally, like all theories, there are few limitations that can be adjusted to within each specific research project. I hope you all enjoyed my podcast concerning the expectancy violations theory, and hopefully you find it useful in your future endeavors. Thank you.